Hello everyone, this is Major Green, also known as Nitpicking Nerd, and I just watched the new Star Trek short track episode called Calypso. I thought it was slightly better than the first one with Tilly. This had a more science fiction feeling. It had some nice shots of the sets of the ship and all that stuff, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it was okay as a kind of a science fiction setting. Now, the problem is the main character of the story is not even a crew member of Discovery, meaning he will not appear in any other episodes. So what's even the point to try to get us to know a character as a one-time thing who is not even part of the cast? I mean, when I first heard about these short tracks, I thought it would be kind of like what Stargate Universe did. They also did kind of mini episodes, which they released online when the show was on. It was about the characters from the actual show, and it was kind of an opportunity to show more of them or show more of the ship, to basically expand on the existing show. So that kind of made sense to do that. And yet here, this has nothing to do with the actual show at all. And I don't even see how it can tie with the show. I mean, where will it fit in the show? It also basically showed a time jump to 1,000 years in the future, and the ship is abandoned somewhere and the crew is gone and only the computer is running the ship. Also, I find it hard to believe the ship would survive for 1,000 years. I mean, in the previous shows they said that the ships can survive for maybe a century or two by itself, but without maintenance it will not be fully functional by itself, and so it's a big problem again with continuity. Unless you can say maybe the ship was upgraded later in the future, maybe it was fixed up by someone later in the future, maybe this new AI was installed later. Still, it kind of leaves everything open. So what exactly happened to the ship? So it makes no sense. Also, I always wanted the show Discovery to end with the ship being destroyed, but now I guess they cannot do that. But they basically, with this mini episode, they insisted that the ship will exist in the far future. So I guess maybe it will be lost in the final episode, maybe it will teleport somewhere else. Still, it basically ties the hands of the show, so now they cannot blow up the ship in the end of the show. So I find it annoying and I don't see how it can fit in with continuity later, because the ship should be destroyed together with the spore drive to make it unworkable in the future, to even fit it with continuity with the other shows. And so I don't see how this mini episode helps with that. I think it only makes things worse. Maybe in the end of the show the Discovery will teleport into the future, maybe the whole crew will evacuate in the last episode and the Discovery will be lost. So maybe they actually spoiled the end of the show with this mini episode, because we'll know how it's supposed to end, which might remove any tension in the last episode. So maybe it was a bad idea to do this. I guess we'll wait and see. And I guess we can assume the AI computer kept evolving by itself, upgrading itself. So looking at it as a standalone, not connected with Star Trek, I guess it was okay, but not really anything new or original. It's just a guy walking in some corridors, talking to the computer, dancing with some hologram, and that's it. So there is no point to this story, nothing really original, nothing really new. It doesn't expand upon anything from the actual show, so what's the point of this? It kind of reminds me of that movie Passengers, which by the way I really liked. It was a pretty good movie. So we had something similar here, and the AI of the ship itself and this guy kind of have a romantic thing going on, and then the computer projects itself as a human woman. That kind of reminds me of the new Blade Runner movie, so it feels as if they simply stole a bunch of ideas from other science fiction movies and put it in the show, pretending as if it's the first time someone did this idea. So totally pointless and only creates problems, as I said. So how can we explain that the ship is empty in the future? And I saw a funny comment by someone who is apparently a fan of Star Trek Discovery, and he wrote how nice it is to know that the Discovery will outlast and will exist long after the Enterprise and all of that. And I wrote in response that we know that the Enterprise NX-01 is in Starfleet Museum, given respect and honor, and yet Discovery was apparently abandoned somewhere in space and no one is looking for it, no one remembers it, it's abandoned, and no one is even bothering to look it up and find that ship. And that's exactly what will happen with this show. It will be an unmemorable event in Star Trek history that no one bothers to look up. Still, I hope the show will end with the Discovery actually getting blown up, and hopefully the whole Spore network will be made inoperable again by anyone, because that's the only way to explain how come no one else ever thought of using it again. I even suggested in one of my early videos about the show, I suggested that the final episode should actually have the ship not just blow up, but cause a massive spatial eruption, a subspace tear that maybe will destroy an entire star system, something like that, which would explain how come everybody were afraid to tinker with this technology again. And we actually can fit that within canon, because there was actually a few references in Deep Space Nine about such an event, about a massive spatial eruption that destroyed an entire star system. So we can actually tie it with existing continuity and say that it was because of the discovery. Maybe with all these experiments, they accidentally caused the disaster, and that explains how come no one else is using this technology again. Maybe it became outlawed, like subspace weapons were outlawed because of the danger to space itself, so just like the Omega particle. So that would explain it all in a way that makes sense within continuity. That will be the only thing that will satisfy me personally. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.